All right. Hello and welcome to everyone. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes for people to join in and we'll get started. And as we're kind of waiting to kick off here, we'll be discussing IHRSA 2024. This is a recap of all the fun things that happened at IHRSA, some valuable insights and innovations that came our way that we'd love to discuss further today. But before we get started with our main topic, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items to help us make the most of our time. So first and foremost, please ensure that you have a stable internet connection and that your devices are functioning correctly. If you experience any technical difficulties during this webinar, don't worry, we're recording. We'll send it out afterwards. But we do encourage active participation and engagement during this. So ask questions, share your thoughts in the chat or Q&A section, and we'll reserve some time at the end to answer some questions. So as stated, this webinar will be recorded and the recording will be made available to all registered participants after the event. You'll receive a follow-up email with a summary of today's discussion and any relevant information. So with that, I will kick it off by introducing our main speaker today, Tom. Hi, Tom. He's on with us now.
Good afternoon.
Tom and I have worked together at Club Automation for the last 4 years, with Tom being here for nearly 5. He's currently serving as our vice president at Club Automation, vice president of sales at Club Automation, and comes with a wealth of knowledge, having worked in various roles within the fitness industry. So with that, Tom, I will give you the floor to kick it off.
Thanks, Marissa. There's quite a few of them have joined today, which is kind of fun. It feels nice to be able to recap IHRSA. It was probably more energetic and fuller or busier than I think a lot of us had anticipated, which, led to a lot of cool visits, a lot of neat conversations. And, IHRSA presented a lot of fun insights to us. And we learned a lot from current customers and people who were inquiring about building new clubs and what have you. So I think we're going to spend a little bit of today talking about what we heard, right, trends-wise, and then kind of the practical application of that. What does that mean from the lens of club automation for you that are already customers? And for those of you that may be joining because you're considering or you're thinking of opening clubs or whoever it is, right? And remember, we're talking to an audience of people that might watch this recording later as well. So I think, Marissa, we can roll right into it. I think the next is like a little bit of an agenda, right? So hold on while I make this larger for myself. So the agenda is going to be a quick exploration of the fitness trends that we heard both from IHRSA or Fitness and Health Association, right? The club automation innovations that we presented, or some context to them, and then future insights, predictions. What does that mean, right? Like practically, what does it mean to use certain innovations, or if you have a certain tech stack, how does that apply in your day-to-day? Most importantly, from the lens of your members, right? Not just, hey, what is it that I can do as an operator, but what do my members and what do they experience? How does that change how they explore my club, et cetera? So Marissa, let's keep on going. I think we can skip right on over into some of the trends and what we saw. This one's going to go fast, and this shouldn't be any surprise, right? This is a membership on the rise over the last 4 years. We can keep going. The next one is, what does it mean to sell more memberships relative to maybe not getting the same visits, right? People are doing more at-home fitness. They have chosen to stick with Peloton, or maybe more people have memberships, but they're kind of picking and choosing Mondays and Tuesdays. Maybe they do one thing at home, or they do a studio one day, the health club the second day, and at-home fitness the third day, et cetera. So I think people are just chopping up their time and their fitness energy a little bit differently. And it's going to be relevant to what we explore here over the next couple minutes. All right, Marissa. This one is fun to talk about because it feeds into the idea of what does it mean to have technology in fitness, who's consuming it, right? We have a lot of great conversations with clubs that have members in their 40s and 50s or 60s and beyond, right? And then a lot of clubs are growing. So those that are adding memberships significantly in this time period are seeing that the average age is dropping. So the consumer, the type of individual, right? What do they want from their experience? How do they get it, et cetera, is changing. And then fitness by generation, right? This is something y'all, as you see this webinar later, you can kind of take a look at on yourself. Millennials, Gen Zers, how are people, who's joining, who's leaving the clubs, things like that. Again, some relevance to how much younger the consumer is becoming and what are their expectations of interacting with your club from a technology perspective, right? Thanks, Marissa. This is a good one also to look at later, because this is exactly what we're talking about. Who's going to do a certain type of fitness when, right? So if I'm a millennial, I may keep a traditional health club membership, but I may also do yoga on the side. I may do connected fitness, etc. So this is kind of a breakdown of at least how IHRSA or most of the industry is talking about Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, and baby boomers relative to their consumption of fitness. And I think overall, it's our take that people are consuming all sorts of fitness, right? And not necessarily picking just their home gym, the one that's within 1 to 3 miles, right? Has been our assumption over the last couple of years. All right, Marissa. So personalized fitness, I guess what it means to me and how we've talked about it as an organization ourselves is how do I allow somebody, number one, it's club within a club, right? So it's how do I create experiences, which is a huge topic of conversation, right? If I have a more traditional health club and I want people to have a swim program, a small group training program, some personal training options, a traditional group X environment, a run club, a stretching club, and then some sort of a mental wellness space. How do I make all of these things work? How do I make them fit? And I think almost most importantly, how do I let people know that these resources are available? And that's, I'm kind of setting myself up a little bit, right? Is if I do these things, if we create these personalized experiences, these clubs within a club, these environments that are allowing people to have their own fitness space, how do we allow them to see the things, learn about them, book them, have wait lists, and everything that allows the experience to be as good technologically as you want to make it in terms of the quality of instructors, equipment that you choose, et cetera. All right. Keep on going. So really this comes down to what does it mean? So for us, club automation, right? We are the end-to-end solution within our industry, right? We can do everything from the top of your funnel, which is, the websites, the SEO management. We're going to talk about that stuff too. The dropping into the CRM, the continuous communications, the actual member management component. What does your staff do? What do your members do? Who's paying? Who's following up with people that don't pay? All of that. If we look just at connecting the dots on the fitness journey, just the screen in front of us, I'm not going to go through every component, but what this serves as is a reminder of just how much we have to do or how many points of engagement we have from the time that we want to bring awareness to our product or our offering to market, the consideration phase that somebody has, right? Like, I'm going to Google you and then I'm going to look at your website. Then I might make an inquiry online and what information do I get afterwards? Who calls me, etc. The commitment phase is I enroll. How easy is that? When do I enroll? Do I enroll on my time or do I have to make an appointment, right? Those are hyper relevant to a tech stack that should be innovative, right? Can I talk to a club and that club, in the moment that I say, right, I say the thing, I'm ready to join. Does the club have to say, hey, that's awesome, let's make an appointment for you to come in to enroll? And when you join, we'll get you scheduled for things like personal training, spa, etc. Or have you put yourself in the position where the minute somebody says, I'm ready to join, it's great. I've just texted you a link to enroll. You can join right there. It's a custom membership, right? And as soon as you're done signing that, you're going to get everything that you need from us. Your membership is ready. You're going to download the mobile application. Your membership card is good to go. And you're going to start receiving information for things like scheduling a personal training session, getting a tour of the spa, etc. Whatever scale you're operating, this journey has to make sense, and it has to be easy. It has to feel like buying on Amazon, as cliche as that feels, right? And then you have the rest of the touch points. Participation. What am I doing as a member? Renewal. Conceptually, renewal is, am I evaluating something else and deciding to stay with you? If I decide to stay with you, are you making it easy? Right? So anyway, no more time on this. We'll talk about the technology in a minute, but it serves as a reminder to just how much stuff you have to do, whether it be automatically or not automatically. And if it's not automatically, who in your organization is facilitating every single one of these touch points? Or more bluntly, how many people do you have to do all of the things that most membership-based organizations tell you you should have to be successful? All right, Marissa, onwards. Okay, so this is how we view our customer journey from an acquisition perspective, right? So we have certain mapping. We being Club Automation, we have an internal CRM called VFP Engage, right? And we cap it with website builds and SEO and digital marketing and all these services really nicely integrated, right? I know a lot of y'all, especially for those of you that are looking to open or have recently opened, you've engaged with agencies that may or may not be fitness industry specific, and they may or may not have a certain approach, and that approach may or may not fit the tech stack that you're looking at. What you get with a solution like ours, like Club Automations, is a digital experience or a digital top of funnel experience, which is all the people that are inquiring, visiting, looking at websites, engaging with social media, engaging with paid ads, all of those things that fits exactly to the model of a CRM that we've built, right? So what does it mean to engage out of that funnel? What do the cadences look like? What triggers what? What happens with a TI? What happens with a walk-in? What happens with a web lead? What happens to an appointment? All of these things are predicated on a funnel, right? Or a digital presence that we help you design that fits the CRM, that fits the mold of how do people join? What do they do for mobile application, et cetera, right? And then you kind of see the rest of the journey. What happens in Club Automation? How do we remarket? What happens if somebody cancels? All of these things that we call milestones, right? The part of somebody's experience that we can automate in a CRM and engage with folks without you having a ton of staff to do it. And this is something for those of y'all that have questions we can get into later, right? There's people inquiring with you. There's acquisition and getting people into the doors or signed up in some way or another. And then there is, what do I say and how do I say things to my members, right? While they're with me. And we're going to get into that a little bit more too. Thanks, Marissa. Cool. This is a really powerful one, and it helps with the concept. If anybody on here doesn't currently have a CRM or doesn't have a digital lead funnel that you're really happy with, this is true for a lot of industries, but 80% of local searches lead to a conversion within 24 hours. This number skyrockets if you engage with the person that is inquiring within 120 seconds and actually either get them on the phone or get them into sales motion of some kind. All right, Marissa? Okay, so the digital marketing muscle, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time with it because y'all heard me talk about it a little bit before. We've tailored a digital asset or a set of digital assets, SEO, social media, email marketing, paid search, content development, and a mobile application, and a website that fits a model of a CRM that we've built. And remember, it doesn't have to be just our model. What I'm saying is the pieces fit together in terms of how we've established the funnels, how the websites are built, what we plug into Club Automation, how do we do online join versus on your phone join. They're very intentional, which means when you come to us, if you decide to and say, hey, this is how I want to talk to my members, There is a very intentional start and a very intentional finish that doesn't need to be rebuilt every time you change your mind, or doesn't even need to be rebuilt when you come to us and say, I'd like to do something like this where I have a very clean workflow from the day somebody joins until the day they leave me, because we have designed that and have provided a lot of leeway and allowance for you to make changes based on, hey, I just want to do this differently, or this is the feedback that I'm getting from my community, or hey, this is a certain thing I know about my community that they might want to hear from us. Hi, Marissa. This will do quickly, right? And we can spend a lot of time. There's entire philosophies on SEO and rankings and managing how people see you in digital search on Google, etc. This is something that we provide as part of our service environment. And y'all who are listening, who are current customers, should know about this. If you have an agency that you don't know what you're getting out of, meaning I don't know what it means to have SEO with this agency, I can't rationalize ROI, then this is a reminder to have a conversation with us about it. All right, Marissa. Okay. Yeah, same thought. No more different, right? Driving leads, making a website more trustworthy, all of the concepts that have to do with SEO and a very pragmatic approach to an online presence. Keep going. Okay. So when we went to IHRSA this year, and this is where we're going to get into what the offering meant and what does it mean to have an offering from Club Automation. We are getting to, and we're nearly there in a lot of ways, right? That if somebody engages with your club, the more things that they can do on their phone in the moment they receive some sort of a message from you, right? The more powerful your offering is going to become. So first is, can I join because you sent me something, an offer, right? I text you or I email you, say, I want you to become a member, right? And in that message is the outcome that says, hey, if you've already decided to join, click here. This is one of the things that we teach. The more outcomes that you build into your messaging, the more powerful it is. Exactly what Mer says on the screen now, tap a book go, which is the actual mobile experience. In the mobile experience, can you show all of your classes, all of your programs, every event, your personal training, your programming? Can you send push notifications? Can you send a text message that allows you to, that or that's intended to market a certain offering, and then have somebody go in and register for it? No, that's good. We can go to 96% of transactions are happening on a mobile device, right? And we know that. And so what we're presenting and what we've presented at IHRSA and what we're going to present in the future is that we are going to continue to invest in the mobile application as if it's just as important or more so than the core Club Automation system itself, because we know your members want to engage through it. This is how they're going to interact. This is how they're going to change their billing, pay their bills, book their programs, engage with the club for the first time, etc. All right. So the other thing that we showed and are going to continue to provide information on over the next couple months is, what does it mean to understand acquisition performance, right? So we call it a sales performance dashboard, but for all intents and purposes, it's, I hope for those of you who've been doing this for a while, enjoy this. It's leads, appointments, shows, and sales, right? So how many leads did we drive? Where were they sourced? How long were they in our pipeline? Did they or did they not take tours? Did they come in and join? Were they a walk-in? Did they have a guest pass? If they used that guest pass, how long did they use it for? How long were they in the stage where after their guest pass expired, did they join or not join, etc.? Primarily, we're looking at leads, their sourcing, the performance of those leads, right? And then KPIs. That's a great transition. Set goals and exceed them. The platform that is our CRM now allows you to say, hey, for each GM that I've got, or for my main club, or however you look at it, I've got X amount of performance requirement. This is how many joins we're pursuing. This is first time guests, so driving people through the door. This is the number of leads I send my team out, or I'm producing X number of leads virtually. Those should all be trackable and comparable over time in one dashboard environment. Keep going, Marissa. And then this is the important one, right? So somewhere along the way, we're spending money on either staff making calls, going out in the community, doing corporate events, doing paid ads, investing in becoming thought leaders, which is writing blogs and all this cool stuff. And we want to know where our leads and our guests are coming from. So lead attribution and dollar attribution for your investment should be dashboarded. Where are the leads coming from? How many do they have? How are they converting? And then what types of new members are we getting out of those leads? Are all visuals that will be available, are currently available in our CRM, and will continue to iterate now over the next year. All right, Marissa? And then trend management. So of all of those things that we talked about, right? Lead numbers, guest counts, conversion rates, new member types, how are people paying, all of these things. How do we compare that over time? How is our team performing? How are our investments performing? What has joined versus what is still sitting out there? And then overall, what is our funnel? Okay. And then, no, that's good. We can finish up here. Everything in one place. So this is kind of a recap of what I started this digital asset conversation with, is that having a singular point of contact, right? Which would be us, to say, this is what I want my digital presence to be. And I want my website to say X, Y, and Z and have these things, right? And I want my paid search and the blogs that I post and my social media to all be in sync, so that when people inquire and they drop into the CRM is saying the right things. When it's time for them to join, they get to join. Right? That's the thought of everything in one place. So future insights and predictions. Good, Marissa. Holistic wellness, right? And so we close out, and y'all, you can ask a million questions about literally what does CA do, or pragmatically, what buttons do people click and what can they do? There are a million answers to that, and we're happy to help you through that. Where we're paying attention, or where we'd like to pay attention over the next year, is what does holistic wellness mean? So what we thought about earlier, are people using different forms of fitness? Are they incorporating mindfulness, etc.? This interest in strength training, how do I develop that within my fitness community? Is it a club within a club? Are they strength training programs? Are they CrossFit-esque? Whatever it may be. Wearables, what does that mean? How do we consume it? How do we develop challenges, right? Does it matter if it talks to our app? Or do we create our own community, our own club within a club for people that want that type of competition? And then the use of AI, which I just don't know yet, right? I think it's a fresh conversation that we want to keep an eye out on. What that means or how that translates into your clubs each day, I guess we'll see as the year goes on. All right, Marissa? Okay. So I think we've got some time for Q&A, which will be fine. So if y'all are here, I'm going to tell you now it's worth scanning the QR code. We already have your information, so it doesn't hurt to know that all you're going to do is name, email address, and phone number. If you scan the QR code, the CRM is actually going to send you components of club automation to try. You will be able to explore the online join. What does it mean to manage resources from the eyes of your member? What does it mean to book personal training through the eyes of your member? And you will have the opportunity to download a real working version of the Club Automation mobile app. It's a real-time app. It will actually change over time. So if you access it this week, it'll be something different than next week. And you can explore all the components. You can see what it looks like to register a class, read announcements, update forms of payment, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a really nice opportunity to say, if I want to do something different with how I'm doing things now as a Club Automation customer, or with I'm not a Club Automation customer, or I'm thinking of opening up a new club, or I'm starting a new project, this is a way to experience a part of what we think the future could look like for a customer-facing tech solution in fitness. Marissa, I think that's all I've got. And if you're trying to talk, you're muted.
I know, I was trying to unmute myself. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We have a couple minutes. Otherwise, we will let you go on your way and send you the recording post. Tom, I do have a question. I have a question on our new member sales dashboard. Tell me a little bit more. How is this going to impact the way that clubs can look at their goals and pivot throughout the year?
Yeah, so generally speaking, the CRM, for all intents and purposes, has become the cornerstone of how every club and a lot of industries are doing their communications because it's automated, right? Whether it be emails, text messages, invitations to join, reminders for people to book their PT orientations, it's completely automated. So you do want visibility of that. How many leads are dropping into the system? Where are they coming from? How is your ad spend or your social media investment or your people investment impacting your dollar spend per new lead that you're putting in? What are the conversion rates? And then ultimately, what does that mean? Like, how much does a new member cost me versus what money did I put in? So the dashboards are designed to be a visual, and we have also just number table dashboards giving you real metrics on your spend, your leads, your sourcing, your guest counts, and your new members, right? That make, when you think about doing marketing or hiring salespeople or only going to front desk sales, it all has to mean something. So that's the intent, and we're going to continue to iterate on it, but it is available for all of our CRM customers.
And I do have a question from a Chase. In your opinion, what is a good closing percentage? Chase, would you like to kind of elaborate on that a little bit more?
So closing percentage off of a walk-in, Chase? I don't know. It's interesting, right? So we say 30% of people will join no matter what you say. 30% of people will not join no matter what you say. And then the remaining 40% are the ones that are in the middle, right? Those are the ones I have to follow up with, engage with. The 30% that said no, you want to as well, right? So somewhere along the way, if you're closing at 30% of every walk-in, you're probably missing some of the selling that goes into the 40% that are kind of on the fence. And I think you can scoop up a lot of that with just simple invitations and reminders after the fact. Imagine you have a walk-in, somebody comes in, they take a tour, they decide not to join for the simple reason that they respect their marriage enough not to have a fight when they get home. But an hour later, they get a text message from the club that happens entirely automatically that says, hey, we hope you had a great tour. If and when you're ready to join, click here to sign the family up. And they can do it instead of sending a marketing message through a text message or an email. We send an outcome. We say, and y'all, this is hard to do if you have online join. Club automation is not online join, is entirely virtual join, which means it can happen on your phone with no interaction with your website. It has its own addresses and everything. So I can then plug that into the CRM, and after the tour or after a TI or after a web lead, every engagement that I have with somebody has an invitation to join. Jan, your question about the sales portion of club automation and extra fee, you are welcome to send me an email back at any time. I can take a look at how you guys are set up. If you're not a customer of ours, we kind of build it into our solution. Hey, Chase, I'm glad you like that. It's the number one conversation I have with everybody. The follow-up that you send to customers without an outcome is almost utterly worthless. It's like saying, here, join for 50% off, and you send them an email and a text message, but you don't, and then the only option you have is to say, come in and join when you're ready. So now you're on their time, right? Now it's, I've got to take the kids to practice. I got to go drive to the gym. I got to take another tour. I got to sign up with somebody. Or even worse, I got to go to your website. I got to find where to join. I got to go through that process. But if every message we ever sent to somebody from every type of automated communication had an embedded option to sign up for a membership every single time they get a message from you, every time, and it can be unobtrusive. It could say, hey, whenever you're ready, no rush. But remember this text because you can click right here to join whenever you'd like. And they see it the first message and the second message and in an email and on your website and on a QR code on your front door. We have to be willing to remind ourselves that the more invitations we give somebody to join or buy, the more likely they are to do so.
Well, thank you, Tom, and everyone that's joined today. We are a minute over, so thank you for bearing with us. I will send the recording to everyone that is registered for this webinar, as well as if you have any additional questions, feel free to use that email on the screen, info@clubautomation.com, as well as we will be sending our email addresses in the follow-up. So if you have any individual questions for Tom or myself, feel free to reach out.
Thanks, y'all.
Everyone. Have a good day.
Have a great day, y'all.